welcome back to Law Study Kid. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about because not a lot of people know this and not a lot of people will tell you this. That the Ontario bar exams are, of course, they're difficult, but the way that you prepare for these exams are very different if you're an NCA student. And this is one of the things that I think that I did not fully appreciate it because a lot of times I would hear from my friends or JD students that we studied for a month and we were fine and we took both the bar exams and then we were okay. So, and here I was thinking I can barely get through the material. It's been a month and I've only read maybe one book. So I thought that maybe either I'm slow or maybe there's something wrong. So this is one of my favorite topics because I think that you also need to know, if you're a foreign trained lawyer, the way that you're going to prepare is very different. And I want to talk about that in this video. 3 things that you need to know as a foreign trained lawyer about the Ontario bar exam. So if you are interested, keep watching. Just very briefly, what is the Ontario bar exam? Once you complete your NCA assessment or you complete your JD program, you become eligible to write the Ontario bar exams. Not automatically. You have to pay the fee, first of all, to get your study material and also enroll yourself as a licensing candidate at the Law Society of Ontario. Or if you are in another province, it's going to be different procedures. But in Ontario, you have to register yourself as a licensing candidate with the Law Society of Ontario and then purchase study material and register yourself for the exam. So there are 2 different exams, open book, and there are multiple choice questions. One is the barrister exam and the other one is the solicitor exam. And materials for both of these exams are very extensive. So it could be many hundreds of pages. And some people write these exams together. Some people write these exams one after. They write the first and then they write the second after. There are different dates that, throughout the year that you have to double check, which courses, which exam that you can take. You have to make sure that you understand the deadlines. These exams are offered, I believe, 3 times a year. And you can take them whenever it is convenient for you. But you have to ensure that you register yourself in a timely manner and you meet the registration deadline. So the first thing that I'd like you to keep in mind is that as an NCA candidate, you need to understand that all this material is something that you're reading for the first time. So it's new information, new knowledge, and new materials for you, as opposed to somebody who already took all of these courses as part of their JD program. Or sometimes I find that students who do the Canadian Common Law LLM also take these courses as part of their school. So if you're an NCA candidate and you have never been to a school in Canada and you've never worked at a law firm with a specific area of the law, you have to understand that this is all new for you. So you can't study for 1 month and write these exams because you've never studied this before. Your eyes are looking at the material for the first time, as opposed to somebody who already took these courses as part of their schooling. So for example, I'll give you an example from my time period. So the barrister exam has different areas of the law. So for example, family law, criminal law, civil procedure, and I believe there was one more, public law. So I've never studied family law before. I don't know what family law is in Ontario. I never took a family law class in my life. Even during law school, I did not take family law. So for me, if somebody's oh, read this in a week, I can't do it because I have never worked in family law. I don't know what it is. I need some time to process all the material. Same thing with civil litigation. I think I worked at a personal injury firm for a bit, so I did understand very basic stuff, but like I still needed to put in time to understand the material. Public law I had studied while I was doing my LLM, so I was familiar with that, and it didn't take me a lot of time to prepare for that. And what else? Civil, family. So, anyways, the thing that I'm trying to communicate is that if you're somebody who's never looked at this material before, don't get discouraged by looking here and there and you're like, oh my god, these people like studied for 1 week and they passed. Well, yeah, they will pass either because they were working in this area of the law or they've already done it in school. There's no way that you can study this in 1 week or even a month if you're reading this for the first time. It's just not possible. Even in schools, one semester is 4 months. So if you're reading something for the first time, they give you 4 months to actually get to understand it. So just think of it in that way. Set your expectations straight because this is not something that you've done before. And when I was doing my law practice program, I was teamed up with JD students and they told me the same thing. They were like, oh, we did it. We studied for like maybe a week or two and we passed. And I'm like, okay, that was not me. The second thing that you want to keep in mind is that this is my suggestion. You don't have to follow it. If you're confident, that's fine, go ahead. Is that you don't have to take both the exams together. There's no rush. There's absolutely no rush. Again, if this is all new for you, 2 exams at a time is a lot of reading and it's a lot of things to understand. So I know some people are like, oh, the bar exam, you don't have to really understand anything. You just need to know how to look for answers and you need to know how fast you are in looking those answers. I mean, I disagree with that because you can't look up answers until and unless you really understand the material. So basic concepts you need to know. And again, if you did not go to a Canadian law school or you didn't work in that area of law, you're never going to learn those concepts. So it'll take you time to learn those concepts. Maybe it's like months or 2 months or 3 months. I don't know, whatever time. So if you're like, oh, the norm is that people take both the exams together, well, it's a norm made by people who studied these courses for 3 years or like they've been in school and the knowledge is fresh and they're just like, after they're done law school, they're like, oh, it's just like a summary. And they're doing this again. So I wouldn't recommend taking both the exams together. As much as you want to, I would just, there's no harm in waiting. Again, it's a lot of material. If you think that you're comfortable, please go ahead by all means. But from my experience, I found that, it's hard to focus on that much material when all of it is new for you. Even if it's like, oh, I understand like 60% of the material because of my job or because I studied it, I would take 2 together. But if it's like I only understand like 20% of the material and the rest is all new for me, I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take 2 exams together. The last thing that you want to keep in mind is ask for help from people who are in similar situations as you. If you will ask somebody who, again, and I say that because when I was preparing for my exams, it was very lonely because I didn't quite understand the difference as to who to ask for help. For people who were in I don't think I was asking somebody who was exactly in a similar situation as me. I was asking people who were different situations as me. Like, for example, they studied these courses in school. They either worked in this area of the law. For example, the solicitor exam has a section about real estate. I had a friend who was working in real estate for a year. So she was like, I didn't even read the materials because I know real estate in and out. So my suggestion is ask for help from people who are in similar situations as you. You'll find that your struggles are the same. And you will probably feel less stressed out than if you're asking somebody who probably knew the materials beforehand, and they're not telling you that they knew the materials beforehand, and they're like, oh no, like literally I would just read it once, or like I skipped half the sections and I passed. So just make sure that you're asking for help from the right kind of people, because if you ask somebody who's not in a similar situation as you will never be able to get the answer would not be helpful to you. Just to summarize, the 3 things that you must know is, first, again, this material can be new to you. So it will take you time to read, to understand, and then also understand the technique as to what you're being tested on. So keep in mind that this is new, fresh material to your eyes, as opposed to somebody who might have studied it in school or worked in that area of law or articled in that area of law or whatever it is. So just keep that in mind. The second thing that I said is to break down 2 exams if the material is all new for you, because it's a lot to take in. And I feel like it wouldn't harm you if you just separate the 2. And the last thing that I said is seek help from people who are in similar situations as you. Don't listen to anybody who says, I didn't even study, or I woke up 1 week before and I studied for 2 days and I passed. Just don't believe anybody. Maybe that's right. Maybe that is right, because they were working hard for all these courses for the past 3 years in school, and then they knew the courses well enough that they passed. So I would just not trust anybody other than people who are in similar situations as you. Thanks for watching. If you'd like me to talk a bit more about the bar exams, I'm happy to do it. I was thinking of talking about, just the basics of the bar exams, like how do you get the study material? How do you register for the bar exam? So if you're interested in something like that, let me know and I'm happy to record a video on it. Thanks guys for watching, and I will see you next time.